What's up, guys? This will be my first installment of commentary in my Road to 600 series. Uh, I'm planning on doing more of these and providing some thoughts with certain moves I made and some of the thought process and things that were going on in my mind. So let's start off with this game against Don Mitsos. Don Mitsos is an opponent I've played before actually in the Championships in Switzerland. That one ended in a draw. So let's see how this one packs out. So he opens on the right side, I on the left. Colonel now opening. He starts aggressing here in the center. Takes with captain. Interestingly. I back off with the major. He moves in. So I'm suspecting some sort of high piece or maybe a scout over here. He scouts the captain, and the lieutenant. So I have already a lot of known info in the center, and not really a whole lot to defend besides the spy. So I want to take some risks with these pieces over here. He backs off with the major, doesn't want to trade. I don't buy this piece over here because it's right in the open scout lane. So I take, and nothing is backing. Now this one I'm immediately suspicious of. It started over here. I believe it was backing the major. Not sure about that. So keep an eye on this one. Scout the lieutenant. I obviously back off with the major towards the safety of the spy. Take here with sergeant. Get another scout, very lucky. Good start. Now here I make this move. And in the game I thought this was the no major and I just had a stupid mix-up. But it turned out it was a different major. And that will play a big role later in the game. I threaten with lieutenant, back with colonel, and I scout over here. I was suspecting something like a colonel maybe, but unfortunately it was just a lieutenant. So I have a lot of known info from Don Mitsos, but it's definitely something I can improve on with remembering all these known pieces. So I think I forget these two lieutenants over here, but let's see how it unfolds. So here I threaten with the general, and here it may have been a bit of a risky move, but I threaten with the spy because it was backing the major for a long time. So I would think that he would go left here, which he did, and I can take this major with the general. So that's a good start. Take the sergeant over here, expecting this to be a low piece. Takes. And here is where my memory mistake starts to play in, because I thought I already captured this major earlier. But it turns out I discovered two majors. He scouts the captain again, for some reason. And here I thought this was the known lieutenant from earlier, but it was actually standing here. So my memory errors are starting to creep in. Uh, so let's see if I can control them somewhat. He moves in with this lieutenant. Here I'm trying to be sneaky and to square this captain by moving this lieutenant to this square, to h4. Because maybe he will lock it up over here, and I can start setting up some kind of domino attack. But unfortunately, he moved the captain to the left, and I don't want to immediately move my cardinal along, because then it's obvious that it's a cardinal or a major or something like that. Here I want to hit this piece with the lieutenant, but he doesn't allow me, understandably, and he threatens here. Now, for some reason, I moved in with this lieutenant, which was an obvious mistake. Could have just backed it up. So back up the lieutenant. If he threatens, I can back up the colonel and keep that going. But for some reason, I moved in. So he gets a free lieutenant. Now I discover the general over here. So right now I don't want to trade, because I know a lot of pieces of him, and I'm trying to put pressure on. So trading here is a mistake. Scout the sergeant. I didn't think it would be a good piece, but just to make sure, I scouted it. Take. The colonel was becoming obvious, so I just take my sergeant and get out of there. He wants to trade, but I want to see if I can trap this colonel over here with general and marshal combo. So I move this marshal out of the way so this colonel has some space to move. And then I will go in with the general. He backs up and then he moves down, interestingly enough. So that allows me to trap this. Now obviously he comes in with the general to counterattack. And here's where my biggest mistake of the game begins. I move up with the spy over here. But guess what this piece is? It's his spy, so he can just take this piece. And this was just a case of being too fancy when it's not necessary. I was already up a major and a cardinal, so there was no real reason for me to risk the spy here. But I still did. I thought I could maybe get a sneaky blind spy in or something, but it was just a stupid idea. So he takes, and I decide to take the general here, because I don't like all these known pieces over here. This could have been a mistake, probably is. So he takes me with spy. Get the sergeant. Now right here, I also made a mistake. What I should have done was 2 squared the captain when he moved over. Because what this allowed, my cardinal taking allowed him to move in with this piece. And the thing is, I don't really want to move the major up, because then he can move in with this piece, and I don't know if it's his cardinal or his marshal. And if I leave the cardinal hanging here, then he gets both pieces if his cardinal is on this side, and this piece is his marshal. So I just decided to yeah, this was not a good move in hindsight. I shouldn't have let this get too squared. But anyway, let's move on. And right here, I forgot this lieutenant, so my excellent memory is starting to kick in. I thought that this piece could have been a marshal, maybe. I want to know what it is with the minor. Here I decide to hit this piece with the lieutenant, just to progress the game. Trade cardinals. Here I decide to come out with the major, to maybe set up some kind of domino attack. Take the captain, if this is marshal, then I can come in with the cardinal and take one of these pieces. For some reason he hits me here with the captain before moving in with what's obviously his marshal. That was a mistake from him, because now I get the captain. But he still gets the major back, so it's not that bad, I guess. Here I move in, get the lieutenant. And now I'm trying to control the lanes over here. So general over here and cardinal over here. This was also a mistake by me, moving this minor out. This becomes a target, he can trap it with marshal and major. So this was definitely a mistake. And right here, also a small mistake, I could have moved the general down. It forced a major take to maybe save this minor. I just played this a little weird here, I think. So now it's up 2 minus. That will start playing a big role later on in the game. There's 2 minus. I'm suspecting this to be the major. So now I want to trade the major off and block off this lane with the 2 captains over here. This will most likely be his captain. But I'm fine with trading it. Now here I take. I don't know why he let me do this. This was a bit weird for me, because it's not in his advantage to let me take this major, because then I'm just up 4 pieces for his 1 marshal. Or, yeah, 4. So the general, captain, and 2 sergeants. So a bit strange. Now here my plan was to block off all the lanes with the sergeants and the general and the captain, and try to get some of the pieces traded off. Here I decide to take with the captain, a bit risky, probably not worth it in hindsight, because if this is a minor, I don't have to fear 4 upper pieces anymore. or upper pieces, I guess. 4 pieces that can kill his miners. This also could have played a bit better by moving between these 3 squares instead of these 3 to get this miner to this lane over here, because I want to stop miners from coming down over here. Here is obviously bringing up a miner. There's still 5 of them. So right here I should have bluffed this miner as a sergeant. And also something I want you to take notice of is that this was a fast game. So what that means is that both players only get 10 minutes of game time clock with 3 seconds buffer. So the clock moves a lot faster than in regular mode. So as you can see here, I already used 9 minutes and 57 or did I say it right? 57, 75 seconds of time. So I'm in a bit of time trouble over here. And that will also start playing a role later on in the game, because that time trouble starts, you start making voice decisions if you get this low on clock. Now here I go for the corner, try to find something, maybe a corner flag. Obviously not, because he's not defending it. And here I try to trade of miners. So now I have only 1 miner left. This general has basically become a sergeant at this point. So here I take this piece. Small mistake by me. This is a known general. So letting him take the general makes more sense, because he doesn't know if this is the miner or the sergeant. Now here I'm expecting a close flag from him. So 1, 2, 3 bombs. We already discovered 2, 1, 2. So I'm expecting one of these, this one or this one, to be the miner. That will play a role a bit further in the game. So here I take this miner out. And I start moving out this miner. Now I feel like I completely butchered this endgame. Because, well, actually he does have opposition to this miner. So I think he can keep it on this side of the board at all times. But he doesn't know that this one is the miner. It could also perfectly well be this one. So I think what I should have done is try to get this miner over to G10 and hit this piece and then this piece. If he trades the miner, then I have pretty good chances to hit the flag. Maybe this one or this one. So that could have been a better game plan than what I did over here. You start shuffling a bit. And I decide to hit this bomb over here, thinking maybe it's his miner. And this bomb over here. So uh, I wasn't right with my call that this was a tripod, and after that I decided to resign. That was also actually a mistake because what he could have done was bomb in the miner. This could have been the miner. So it was a mistake to immediately resign after this because I could have still played for the draw. Um, and especially because he instantly moved out his marshal, makes me think that this miner was bombed in. So big mistake by me to resign this early. And well, that was the end of the game. So well played to Don Mitsos, and thank you guys for watching.